and welcome to Chair Interval Training, brought to you by Community Access Yellow Springs Senior Center, and me, Lynn Hardman, local Silver Sneakers Flex instructor. Hey, as I record this class for you, it is Mother's Day, so happy Mother's Day. By the time you see it, that will be a late greeting, but heartfelt just the same. And why am I making this on Mother's Day? Well, it is cold and rainy, so I can't play in my garden as I normally would love to do. So I'm going to get my exercise indoors with you today. Hey, did you know that May is Women's Health Month? Just want to encourage you, if you haven't done so already, catch up on your regular preventative health care needs and appointments. Don't forget your eyes, your teeth, your feet, if you're a diabetic especially, your annual well checkup, and don't forget your mental health. Oof, it's been a tough year, hasn't it? Well, let's do our best to proactively take care of our own health by exercising. We're going to get great cognitive exercise as well as for our heart and lungs and all of our major muscle groups. All you're going to need is a sturdy chair. Today we'll use a ball and a rubber band. Also have some water. You'll need to stay hydrated. And consult your physician, not just about your regular checkups, but about any new exercise program or any changes with your health. Jot it down so that you're ready to discuss it without distraction when you do go to see your physician. And if you feel dizzy or out of balance at any time during this workout, it's recommended you just return or remain in the chair. Anything hurts, reduce the range of motion, or substitute a different movement that feels good for you today, because every day is different. All right, I'm going to stow my water under the chair, and I'm going to share some woman power music with you today. So let's get started. Remember, use your best posture. It makes our movements easier. And what is best posture? It is whether you're seated or standing, it is elongating your spine with your ears ideally stacked over your shoulders sort of down and back, and your shoulders stacked over your hips. If you're seated, it's best to be up towards the front half of your chair with your feet able to touch the ground and maybe a little cushion on your seat, and just move to your best abilities. We're going to warm up gradually. Always make sure you have a safe, clear area free of anything that might slip, trip, or fall on, and that you can use your chair to your advantage. This is our home base and our balance check. So you should be able to see it with your peripheral vision and touch it for support as needed. You can march big or little, but take a couple breaths and see how your shoulders feel as you gradually raise your arms higher and higher. And if you get to a point where it hurts, stop. Use your full, safe, comfortable range of motion. Good. Now, you can either be on the side of your chair or behind it, but just for the warm-up and a couple other times, I'm going to sneak out front so you can see my feet. See what I'm doing a little bit. But remember, you got to keep that chair in your peripheral vision so it doesn't sneak up behind you and cause you to slip, trip, or fall. Widen out that marching stance a little. Pump those arms in opposition. And then just sort of push up onto one ball of your foot and the toes, and then sink down into your mini squat and get those hips and knees and ankles limbering up. If you like, we've been swinging through our arm as if we were marching. If you like, you can pick up one shoulder, then the other. I like to keep the warm-up fairly similar from week to week. I hope it doesn't bore you. I try to change up the other parts. Circling that elbow back. or just the shoulder, or easing into a full arm circle if it suits you today. Good, our shoulders can move in all directions, so let's open and close them. A little at first, and then bigger. Now let's see if we can rotate through our spine a little at first, always. Lifting that heel of the trailing foot so that we don't twist our knee or our hip or lower back. And if it feels good, you can reach right overhead. If not, you can just keep it here. All right, we got a little bit of our blood pumping. We could come back to a march. And I want to preview a couple patterns that we're going to do for our ABCs. A is for agility, B is for balance, and C is for coordination. And S is for strength, and then we also will work on our flexibility. But we know these are evidence-based exercises, and we know working on agility or foot speed reduces our risk of falls, and it gets our heart rate elevated, so our heart and lungs get stronger. And in the meantime, we're getting more fresh oxygen and blood flow to our brain and learning patterns. So it's a whole body excellent exercise that's evidence-based. All right, I'm going to call this one 3 speeds, 3 planes of motion. We can march at a medium or tempo speed, but if we slow it down, it's simply a knee lift. By the way, when we're doing knee lifts, we're working on balance a little longer. So pull your navel in, keep your head high. So this is slow. We can move our feet slow, but we can move our arms at tempo. That's a coordination challenge. If we work on coordination, it will also reduce our risk of falls. We can move our hands double time and our feet slow. We can keep our hands at double time and move our feet at tempo, or our feet go fast. Just march it out. So those are 3 speeds. But we have this plane of motion, arms going forward and back. We have this range of motion, keeping the torso strong and centered, but moving our arms rotating. And then we have this range of motion, either overhead or down low, our frontal plane. So we got sagittal, we've got transverse, this is the kinesiology lesson today, and we've got frontal. Remember, you can do frontal with your arms below the shoulder level or over. And we'll experiment with all 3 speeds if you like. All right, I'm going to move back to next to my chair so I can preview a pattern we've done before. This one's called a kickbox pattern because we'll kick and we'll box. I want you to take your left foot and your left hand, keep it near that back leg of your chair, sink into your athletic lunge, and we're going to punch with our right hand, cross the body 3 times, and then we're going to lift that left knee. So punch, cross, 2, 3, knee. Yeah, we can go slow, 2, 3, knee, or we can go fast, punch, 2, 3, knee. Oh, this is tempo. Do you think you could go even faster if you feel up to it? 1, 2, 3, knee. You can keep that left hand on your chair, or if you're feeling well balanced, you can bring that other hand up. I'm getting tired. This is just supposed to be the warm-up. We'll use more kickboxing patterns to the side at different speeds if you like, but you can always go at your own pace. And we'll even practice our speed bag and our jump rope training. But now that we got our blood flowing, an important part of our warm-up is a dynamic stretch. And we're going to do that seated, because I recognize that not everybody is comfortable on their feet for long periods of time. But we can get a lot accomplished in our chair. So let's get our feet close to it, the front legs, so we don't miss our target. And if you like, you can go down slow, take your heels and all 10 toes in, hover a bit, and then get seated. Try your best not to just flop. But if you do, your feet are in the right place. And this is a great time to get a sip of water. So, when you get things down low, whether you're inside on a rainy day because you can't play in your garden, or it's a sunny day and you're out in your garden, step to the side, brace with your strong core muscles that protect your spine, and get frequent sips of water. Okay, let's warm up a little. Reminder, when you're seated, we still want to keep that elongated spine, ears over shoulders over hips posture, and towards the front edge of your chair. In many of my in-person classes, I observe people sitting back too far in their chair, and it limits their hip mobility, and we need that for independent quality of life and quality of movement. And better quality will usually lead to more quantity. Yay! So sit tall. Hang on to your chair, buckle up your safety belt, that is, tighten your abdominals, and stretch your right leg out, and stretch your left leg out. Good. Now let's do our opposite arm and push. This is old, but it's still good. And some of you might not have done this with me before. See how it feels to stick that sole of your foot up in the air and stretch actively or dynamically through the back of the thigh, back of the knee, and the calf by showing me the sole of your foot or stretching the toes and the fingers up towards the ceiling and spread your fingers wide. Now, let's just hold that right leg in the air and circle opposite directions, hands and wrists and foot, and then the other way. Ooh, I can feel that in my quadricep too. Other leg, up, opposite circles, sit tall, and then other way. Ooh, yeah, I can feel that here. All right, let's walk our feet out, get a little inner thigh stretch. Knees and toes really need to be pointing in nearly the same direction for good knee health. Then you can flex or hinge forward slightly, putting a slight amount of pressure on the inner aspect of your thigh for a nice hip adductor stretch. While you're there, enjoy a little shoulder stretch. Breathe. As we walk our feet in, I want to remind you we'll be using a scale of 1 being the lowest intensity and 10 being the highest to gauge our perceived exertion. Research shows it's better even than taking your pulse. How you feel while exercising is spot on. So trust your instincts, trust your body, don't push too hard. Do your very best. We're going to keep moving, opening our chest, breathing deep, arching our back slightly, only if it feels good. Exhale, curl your spine like a cat. Inhale, up, 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 as far as your shoulders like to go. And then stretch through one side of your body. And then the other. Okay, a little bit more warm up for the wrists and the ankles. Let's just circle those arms and tap our toes. That's a coordination conundrum. You know what? I'm gonna do it out and in. That's easier for me. It'll get the whole thing that I want to happen accomplished, which is shoulders, wrists, ankles, feet, a little bit more limbered up. If you feel tight here while in your chair on the fronts of your thighs, I'm going to encourage you to pull your heels back and lengthen that spot there. You can take stretches or little breaks with your movement as you need it. So go at your own pace, do your best, and rest when you need, and then join back in. It's a beautiful system. The more we use our body's strengths and abilities with good rest and good nutrition, the more we can do in general. So, if you want, we're going to do our 3-speed agility exercise on our feet or in our seat. Okay, so dig your heels in. If you feel dizzy at any time, you can come back to your chair, but make sure your area is free and safe and clear. That's posture. You can touch and see your chair. And this is just our march in 3 different speeds. So this is our medium or middle speed at tempo. Do you feel the beat of the music? Okay, so if you feel steady on your feet, you can take it to both arms. So this is our medium speed. Arms and legs going at the same tempo. Let's try arms and legs going at a slower tempo or a knee lift. It's up, up. Now, do you feel you're balancing a little bit longer on each foot? So if you need that chair, it's right there. Don't be ashamed to use your assistive devices. The only real shame is when you don't use one when you need it. All right, so we're working on that slow speed with both arms and legs. Let's go back up to the medium and march it out. You can march big or little, it's up to you. Well, we've got one more speed, fast arms together with fast speed. Let's try that. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Your feet never even need to leave the ground if you don't want them to. Still got your chair. You could move that other arm or no arms. Good. Let's go back to tempo or marching. All right, now, coordination challenge. We're going to mix it up. First, let me ask you, how's your breathing and how's your 1 to 10 intensity? Can you talk? Can you say a number out loud? Ideally, we're shooting for a 4 to 7. An 8 would feel like, I can do this, but I don't know how much longer. All right. We're using our arms at the same medium tempo speed as our legs. So let's try something. Keep your legs moving medium, but let's move our arms slow. It's a little bit challenging. If you don't get it, it's okay, just laugh. Because laughter creates oxytocin, which is good, a feel-good hormone. And it also exercises your abdominals. Okay, do your best. Let's keep our arms at this slow tempo and see if we can move our feet fast. That almost is easier for me. Now you can go at your own pace, right? Right. Awesome. Let's take our arms to medium speed. That feels hard. How about arms fast and match your legs? Woo! All right, that's getting my heart rate and breath rate up. So I'm gonna slow down. Take a moment. Take a deep breath. Let's get a little calf stretch in here because that was hard to do when we were in the chair. So while we're catching our breath and assessing our intensity, let's walk our right leg back, pace the heel on the ground. Lean forward gently with the knee straight. And then if you want, lean back a bit, pushing your weight into that rear hind quarter, bending the knee a bit. And let's try the other leg. Easy does it. Don't want to let our heart rate go down too far, but heel on the ground, left leg, Knees straight, leaning forward. And then, if you like, shifting your weight backward, pushing into that rear left hip, bending the knee a bit, and just like that, we've got a great calf stretch. Let's take it over to the other side just for fun. But if you've got one arm that you prefer to have near the chair, stay where you're at. This is not a one-sided thing. We're going to do that pattern or that mix-up again. We're going to start with our legs slow, so just knees. I was trying not to do arms. Okay, now you can add those slow tempo arms, knowing that you can touch your chair with your right arm or your other arm whenever you need. Best posture? Yes, excellent. Did you know good posture not only makes it easier to move and breathe, it also exudes a feeling of confidence to everyone around you. All right. So our hands, our arms, and our legs are moving at that regular, slow rate together. Let's keep our feet slow and make our arms go medium. Keep your body straight and tall. You gotta engage your core and breathe to avoid too much twisting. Whoops, I messed it up. It's hard to keep our arms and our legs at different tempos, isn't it? Now, I want you to concentrate, and if it's within your abilities, keep your legs going slow and move your arms fast, fast. This is hard. You gotta keep your core tight. You can use your chair. Woo! 4, 3, 2, take a break. Nice deep breath. Oh, how are you doing now with your intensity? Well, let's train a little bit more. If it's in you, you can do this in your chair or on your feet, preferably behind your chair. Wide stance. I'm going to sneak out in front so you can see what I'm doing with my legs and feet. But you stay behind your chair, please. Wide stance. We're going to just try our athletic position, and we're going to do a little speed bag. So staying in our mini squat. Got it? All right, let's see if we can march with that. Let's see if we can march out, out, in. Oh no, I'm throwing all kinds of patterns at you today. If your shoulders ache, bring it down low, but keep those hands going fast. Now, if you're rolling forward, I want you to roll back. If you were rolling back, I want you to roll those hands forward. Don't pop yourself in the chin. All right, we did our speed bag. Relax, take a deep breath. One more exercise. Let's pretend we have a jump rope. We can do heel digs in front. Actually, you might be better off to the side of your chair so you don't kick it and you're able to see and touch it. You can use one arm for your imaginary jump rope, and you can go slow. Or, keeping your hands and feet in rhythm with each other, you can go a little bit faster. So you're just tapping your heel, heel, heel. And if you like, you could try it red hot pepper. We've been on our feet for a while, haven't we? If you feel like sitting down, you're right. If you are already sitting down, you're right. If you feel like doing the rest of this stuff in the air, you're probably right. But some of it is going to have to be in the chair. And getting up and down out of your chair is a really, or your bed, or a couch, or your car, is a life skill that needs practice. And by the way, when we practice squatting in good form, we are not only strengthening our thighs and hips and lower back and core and feet, we're improving our balance and we're adding If we have good nutrition, we're adding density to our lower spine and pelvis, which is an area where many women might experience a thinning of the bone or osteopenia. So that's something to talk to your doctor about when you have your regular preventative screenings. If you do, just your best one body weight squat and hover and then get in your chair, you're doing great. Do that regularly and you're going to be able to do more repetitions and have a positive effect. Let's get a sip of water before we do some more strength work to add density to our bones. And yes, I'm talking to the men too. They experience, we all will experience osteoporosis if we don't do weight bearing, and that means especially strength training, weight bearing activities. We don't have to lift weights to get bones like titanium. We can use rubber elastic bands or the ball to create resistance. We can use our own body weight, yes. So let's use our tools today. Let's start out with our tubing. We're going to check our cheat sheet. I like to make a new order of exercises whenever I can. Great. Did you get a sip of water? I hope you did. Did you take your time? Embrace with your arm and your abdominals? By now, I hope you're doing everything autopilot. And if you're not, just keep tuning in when you can. We're going to use the tubing sitting at the front edge of our seat under both feet, one at a time please. Equal length on either side. Crisscross those tubes. Put a little bit of tension on them. And see how it feels to sit tall, front edge of your seat. And just sit as tall as you can. Keep the spine strong and long in the center and step out to one side. Strengthening the outer hip muscles, the hip abductors. Holding the navel in and breathing each time. Ideally, inhale through your nose, exhale through a tiny imaginary straw. Excellent. That's the hip exercise. Now, bring your hands to the middle, and I'll show you an upper body exercise, and if you want to put them together, we'll do that. Keeping our hands close to our body, lifting our elbows, and then lowering in this upright row. If your tube is really long, like mine today, you might have to grab a little bit lower to get an appropriate, challenging amount of tension. Yeah, that's better for me. Inhale, squeeze your shoulder blades back. Exhale, repeat. Now, if you like, you can add that hip abduction. Excellent. Keep the hands close to the body. They never need to go higher than your collarbone. Indeed, you should be able to touch your collarbone. Your scapula, not your scapula. Your collarbone, your clavicle, at the top of this motion. Not everyone is able to get their elbows higher than their wrists, but it's something to strive for if it's in your safe, comfortable range of motion. And just like that, my shoulders, biceps, upper back, and hips are getting fatigued. And that's the goal of our strength training, is momentary muscular fatigue. Okay, now, keep those handles, draw your elbows to your rib cage, and we're going to do it middle body or abdominal core exercise. Keep your elbows on your belly, tighten your belly, tuck your tailbone under and lean back as far as you comfortably can. And then sit up, but not quite all the way where your abdominals are relaxed or not working. This is weight-bearing strength exercise that uses our body weight and gravity to strengthen our core. So keep the navel pulling in like you're zipping up tight pants. And if you want, I'll show you an upper body or bicep curl. So elbows stay pasted to the rib cage. Again, if your band is really long and you want to put more tension, grab the tube down lower. I like to have it come out between my index and third finger so it doesn't hurt the webbing of my thumb. A little hint for you, but never strangulate your hand with a rubber band. Now, you can lean back and do them both together. Keep that navel pulling in. Keep breathing. Ooh, yeah. When my arms come close to my shoulders, my hands, sorry, then it's a lot more difficult when in that recumbent abdominal slide, if you would. So do your best. If your lower back hurts, you could just sit tall and finish with the bicep curls. I'm about done anyway. All right, take your tubing and uncross it, please. One more exercise. Let's take our heels off so that the tube is now under your lap or on the backs of your thighs. Got your hands pointing up. Band is on the inside of your elbow. Keep your weight in your feet and your seat. And see how it feels to push across with a punch. Hold the navel in and rotate your body. This is a shoulder press, tricep, and chest exercise. Good. If it feels good and it's within your abilities, you can take it up on a diagonal. Or if you want to make it really hard, you can do 2 arms at a time. But rotate your ribs around and use those obliques as well as the stabilizing muscles, the quadratus lumborum in your spine. Whew. And my shoulders are getting very tired. I'm going to try one more on the right, one more on the left, and make sure I've got no tension on that tube before I step off and hang it up. And before we transition to some great cardio work, let's get a sip of water. Stepping to the side, leaning to the side. It's a really good way to protect your lower back. Okay, down. Can you get cardio in your chair? I bet you can. I'm going to demonstrate it from here in my seat, but those of you out there, if you want to be on your feet, come on over here to the left side of your chair. We're going to practice our kickboxing. Make sure you can see and touch the chair with your right hand. Over on the left side. If you're standing, we're going to take our left hand or seated and we're going to cross jab 3 times and then knee. So 3, 2, 1, knee. Good. This is super slow. Pull your navel in. Let's try a tempo. Ready? Cross, 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 knee. You could be holding that chair if you're standing for better stability. You could also tighten up your abdominals and pretend like you're actually kneeing somebody, maybe to protect yourself, hopefully only to protect yourself. Good. One more at tempo. March it out. I'm going to join you on my feet, but I wanted to show you could do that in your seat. And you can also continue at your own pace, or you can start with that tempo. 3, 2, getting down in your athletic stance. If your balance is rock steady, you can pick that other arm up and guard your face. Now, one more at this tempo. How about double time? 3, 2, 1, knee. 3, 2, 1. That chair is there if you need it. Use it. Huh. 3, 2, 1, knee. 2 more. Woo! Woo! There's the bell rings. That's the end of that round. How are you feeling? How's your intensity? You ready for more? Remember, you can fight from your chair, but never give up. Let's try our left hand jab to the side. So, nice wide athletic stance, down low, punch slow, 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 and then we're gonna kick. Lean your body away from your side kick. Let's try that at tempo. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Pull your navel in. We've got our chair there in our right hand if we need it. If we don't need it, you can bring that guard up. 3, 2, 1. That side kick doesn't have to be low or high, but make it strong. Think from your heel. 3, 2, 1. Well, if you want to try this faster, let's try it. 3, 2, 1. Got your chair there if you need it. Stay low. Every once in a while, it's good to say One more time. Whew, I got a little hot. All right. How about we get back here behind our chair and just take a little breather and work on our calves and our balance. Behind our chair, we've got it should we need it, but stay where you're at. I'm gonna show you what I'm doing with my feet. Hip width or stance. See if you can come up to your tippy toes, down into your triple flexion. Good, we're just catching our breath here and assessing how we feel before we go to the other side and decide how we want to do it next. Let's see if we can balance up on our toes and walk our feet together, still on our tippy toes, and relax. Down into your triple flexion, stretching those heels, Achilles tendons, and calves a bit. Now, if you want to try this pattern again, we're going to come over to the right side. Got our left hand on our chair. We're going to have that right foot ahead. Our left foot ahead so that we can take our slow cross punch across the body. Lift that rear heel. Get your hip into it. Now lift that left knee. Slow again. Cross. 2, 3. One more slow. Really feel the motion. Squeeze your hip. Now let's try it at tempo. 1, 2, 3. Breathing the whole time, but bracing as if someone were gonna bop us in the belly. But we're not gonna let them. Good. So you're lifting that rear heel and squeezing that hind quarter or your glutes and rotating a little bit just to engage your whole body and get more out of it if it feels good to you. And if it feels good to you, let's try it double time. Whoo, ha, he. Got your chair if you need it. Stay low, that's better for your leg strength and your balance. This is hard work, isn't it? You can work easy or hard. That's fine. Good, take a break. Woo. Shake out that leg. We've got one more direction to work in. Oh, I forgot about the 3 planes, didn't I? That's another time. Okay, so down in our athletic squat stance, that last time we were in a split squat stance or a lunge stance. Left hand on the chair and jab. 2, 3, now lean and kick with power. One more slow. Good. Let's try the tempo. Jab, jab, 2, 3, huh. Again, you don't have to make the sound effects. Shift your weight a little bit. If you don't need that chair, you could bring your guard up. How you doing? Can you talk while you do this? All right, well, one more at this tempo. Ready for double time? 3, 2, 1. Got your chair if you need it. Oh! Ha! Let's do 4 more kicks. 4, 3, 2, 1. Woo! It's getting hot in here. All right, how are you doing? If you need a break, take a break. I forgot to put our 3 different planes of arm movement in with our legs earlier, but you know what? It's never too late. If you're feeling up to it, march those feet out. Make sure you can touch your chair and move those arms in our sagittal, or forward and back, right and left swinging motion, very natural. Then keep your feet moving, keep your core solid, and move your arms in a transverse, much less natural direction. Keep your core engaged. Keep your head tall. This works great if you're in your chair. Now let's try that frontal plane. Arms overhead in this lateral sort of plane, or underneath your shoulders, but pushing down. Good, back to our transverse or rotational plane. That really engages the core, do you feel it? It's important to do these movements in all different directions because life doesn't move in one direction or at one speed. Let's bring it back down to this sagittal and slow it down. We've got time to do another set of strength work. But first, let's get our breathing under control. And let's try a little tiny bit more balance work, shall we? We're going to combine some balance with a calf stretch. So make sure you got that left hand near the chair. Walk your right heel back, paste it on the ground. Lean forward. Now I want you to pull up to the ball of that rear toe. We got our hand here. And if you don't need your hand there, you could try pushing and lifting, lengthening the spine. If it hurts your shoulder, bring that down. Lengthening the toe back and squeezing your hip while balancing on your left leg. Let's try it on the other side. Just walk your left foot back till you got the heel pasted on the ground. Lean forward for that good calf stretch. Come up to the ball of the foot. We're on a diagonal now, but see if you can transfer your weight to that front foot and bring your body to a straight vertical line. You could just have your toe on the ground back there behind you, or pull your navel in and squeeze your hip. Chair is there if you need it. So we were building hip strength, foot strength, while working in this extended body nice and tall and long, leg long, hip squeezing, core pulling in, strengthening. All right, we're going to use both our ball and our band, but first we got to get our body in the chair. So you know what to do first. Get your heels close to your chair. Keep your weight as much as you can comfortably in all parts of both feet. Stretch your hips back. Keep your head up. Sometimes our heels want to pop up off of the ground. If that's so, it may be that you need a little bit more work on flexibility in the ankle joint. Strengthening your feet and lengthening your lower body muscles is a regular activity. Just walking and squatting are rated number one, number two exercises by trainers all over the world and exercise physiologists for maintaining independence. Even if you are in a wheelchair temporarily or permanently, grip strength is another thing that's key, correlated or associated with for independent living. So that's why we work on all those things whenever we can. Not too much, just the right amount. So in our seat, I'm going to back up. It's a good time to get a sip of water. I'm going to put my ball between my legs because I needed my hands to get my water. Okay. This is going to be a good one. We're going to use our ball and our band together. Ball between our legs. Let's get that started. Sitting at the front edge of your chair, you can just lay the tube on your lap and keep your feet pressing into the ground as you squeeze the ball together. Feet have to start a tiny bit closer than the knees so we don't go into a knock-knee position. Breathe as we do these nearly isometric or very short range of motion strength exercises. A lot of people don't think of the rubber ball or the rubber band as weight-bearing activities, but they are. This is Strength Training 101. Squeeze as hard as you comfortably can. Push your heels into the ground and fire up your hamstring muscles. Pull your toes off of the floor and fire up and strengthen those shin muscles. All very important for our independent activities of daily living. Use it or lose it, right? Okay, that's our lower body and we were strengthening our core exercise. Take a break with the legs, but keep that ball there. Grab your tubing and let's add an upper body exercise. And whenever you like, you can combine this chest press with the tubing behind your upper back, coming out underneath your arms, on the inside aspect of your elbows. If you want to add resistance, grab it closer to your shoulders and push. It's like doing push-ups. Only gravity is coming from above your head down to the ground. So we are tricking gravity using this elastic rubber tubing. Did you know when astronauts are up in space for any length of time, they lose bone density rather quickly? So the folks at NASA designed an isometric program to strengthen them. But I think they should be using tubing as well, because tubing doesn't care about gravity. I care about gravity. So if you do, squeeze that ball together with your chest presses. Remember, dig your heels in, pull your toes up. You get everything out of these exercises that you put into it. Repetitions and form are most important. Because until you do a significant number of repetitions, you don't get the motor muscle memory. And then once your brain and your neuromuscular conjunctions have figured out how to do the coordination of these two movements, then you can gradually add more resistance. And that's when you'll start to reap the rewards of stronger muscles and denser bones. Seriously. All right, take that tube off like you're taking off a jacket. Lay it in your lap. Take your ball and place it behind your mid-back. You'll have to scooch back little at a time until you can put it right in the middle of your spine. Dig your feet into the floor about the same width as your chair legs. Hold on to your seat. Don't let your chair tip and squeeze your glutes as you push the air out of the ball. These are called hyperextensions. If your heels are digging into the floor, You're squeezing your gluteals together, but keeping them on the chair, keeping all 4 chair legs on the floor. We don't want anybody to tip over. Keeping your core tight, but exhaling each time you squeeze the air out of your chair. You should feel this in your hips. Your gluteals are squeezing together and driving the lower back and spine in its long, strong position into that ball. Great. That's our lower body exercise. Now, you can just grab the tube about shoulder width apart. If you don't like the dangly bits, you can grab the handles first and then loop around. Here's your upper body horizontal row. Wrists should be straight. Stretch that tube and tuck your elbows back. Breathe each time. Strengthening upper back, biceps, rear shoulder. Both of them. Now, if you want, you can add these 2 exercises together. Careful, don't tilt your chair. Oh, that feels great. None of these exercises should hurt. If they do, you could reduce the range of motion. Just do the upper body, or just do the lower body, or you'll always have the option of stopping because you know you best. Give it your best effort, and then you can take a break. Whew, felt that. We're done with our band. You can hang that up or toss it to the side. I'm going to show you an exercise that you can do seated or standing. I'm going to show it seated on the right side, and then I'll show it standing on the left. If you're standing, you'll need to be behind your chair. Either way, we're going to scooch forward, feet wider than hip width, tucking the ball under the right arm, left arm on the waist, and we're going to squeeze the elbow toward the ribs, strengthening the shoulder rotator cuff and stabilizer muscles. Also strengthening the obliques in this frontal plane exercise. So we're imagining a curtain in front of us, not disturbing it. Elbow up on the right side would make it a little more challenging. And if you want, finish off with a pulse, inhaling through your nose, like you're smelling Mayflowers. Exhale, like you're blowing dandelion fluff. Good. Now, you can stay in your seat, or if you're already on your feet, you can stay on your feet. You want to be behind your chair so you can use it, but I'm going to come in front so you can see my feet. A little wider than hip width, sitting down into a isometric kind of sumo squat. So your hips are somewhat tucked, shoulders right over hips, not back like a regular squat, okay? This will strengthen your inner thighs. Go ahead and tuck that ball under your left elbow, shoulder, or upper arm, and squeeze. Pull the navel in, breathe. So we're really trying to pop the ball between our elbow and our ribs, and we can feel with our hand on our waist the muscles that are working. I like that tactile feedback. If you want to make it more challenging, here you go. Don't hold your breath. And we'll finish off with that pulse on the left. Inhale like you're smelling your favorite soup. Exhale as if you're blowing on the broth. All right. Ooh, I felt that in my inner thighs, in my shoulder stabilizers, and on my right side of my body. We're going to tuck that away. Do one little balance exercise before we sit a spell and stretch and relax mindfully. We're going to do what I like to call the tightrope or the balance beam walk. And stay where you're at. You're going to walk behind your chair. But today I'm going to turn mine around so you can see what I'm doing, but I can also use it to my abilities. So we're gonna imagine starting an arm's length almost away from our chair that we're on a little tightrope. Best posture, hold the navel in, ears over shoulders over hips, and just slow. See if you can balance on one foot and then roll heel, ball, toe. Slow. We're only going to take 3 steps because then we'll be at the end of our personal tightrope or balance beam. Once we get to that point, see if you can balance on one foot. Lift that leg long in front, swing behind. Notice, keep your spine strong and long and still. Then, make sure you can touch your chair. Try your personal tightrope balance beam. Slow toe ball heel, feeling every bit of the foot. Just 3 steps, and then we need our chair. Then we could take our hip swing very slow through that range again. One more time, if you like, forward, slow. Roll through the heel, toes up, ball, toe. Stretch the spine up. Oops, arms should be moving in opposition of the leg. And when you're ready, if you please, toe ball heel. Really feel the floor behind. Keep your finger just a millimeter's length or touching the chair, please. And then finish off with your spine tall, slow, controlled hip swings. That is a great exercise for hip mobility, for torso strength, balance, and more. All right, as I promised, it is time to sit a stretch. So won't you join me in your chair? And just begin by bringing your attention to your breathing or your heart center. Try to clear your mind of all other thoughts. And if you want, rest your hands on your lap and your shoulders down. Feel lightness as you breathe in from the bottom of your lungs to the top. And feel relaxed and effortless as you exhale. Imagine releasing any tension or heaviness in your body. Go ahead and just breathe in slowly through your nose at your own pace. Imagine in your mind's eyes your lungs, beautiful big pink balloons, elastic and vital. Fill them from the bottom to the top. And as you exhale, just relax and let go of anything you don't need. Take one more deep, relaxed, effortless, energizing breath. And just like that, your heart rate will have come down, your cat may have sneezed, and hopefully your breathing rate is more relaxed. If you need water, by all means, go ahead and step to the side, lean to the side and get some. Many of us, especially as we age, our thirst mechanism isn't quite what it used to be, but then again, what is? So we have to really pay attention. Sometimes the best way to know that you're getting the right amount of water is to have a container on hand, and you can visually see. It's a reminder to drink, as well as you can measure. And that's a great way to keep yourself on track with your hydration needs. Okay, let's turn to the side, take our time, left hip off of the edge of the chair, hinging forward, easing that left leg back just as far as is comfortable. The goal of this side seated stretch is to lengthen the front of the hip flexor thigh area, the quadricep. So let that knee drift down, and with your breath, feel lightness. Let your big, beautiful pink lungs fill from the bottom to the top. Stretch up, relax that knee down. If the shoulder aches, bring it in. Keep the spine long. And if it suits you, stretch through the left side of your torso. Deep breath here. And come out and sit tall. Stay here for a moment. Breathe in, sitting tall. And as you exhale, gentle, gentle, gentle rotation. Keep the crown of your head stretching upward. Don't force it, but hold on to your chair, and from here, take a deep breath, expanding your lungs and your rib cage. And if it feels good, stretch your eyes and look over that right shoulder. And then unwind. Ooh, that felt good. Let's get that total body stretch on the other side, but in between, one nice deep inhale, opening fingers wide, opening and stretching the forearms, opening the shoulders and the chest, a little bit through the spine if it feels good. And then exhale, interlace those fingers, stretch gently through the hand flexors, arching like a cat stretches. If you've ever watched your pet cat or dog, they know it's good for them to stretch, and they do it intuitively, instinctively. Well, you know, we're just animals too. So, as we finish off with this sideways stretch, or any stretch that suits you today, if you listen to your body, it will tell you it feels good to move. Let that right knee drift down, and inhale up. Relax that foot. And when you're ready to exhale, stretch through the right side of your torso. Indeed, you know, some days it's hard to get motivated to move. So I would encourage you to remember how it feels when you're done with your activity. And for me, I always feel better afterward. Even if I didn't quite feel like doing the exercise in the beginning, I always feel better after. So let's finish with one nice long spine lengthening breath, and then exhale as we gently, slowly rotate toward the chair. Don't force it. Breathe in, expand the ribs and the lungs. As you exhale, you can even gently look over that left shoulder and stretch your eyes, but be gentle with the neck especially, and ease out of that. All right, well, I've run over time, but I just, you know, there's just never enough time to move with you, my friends. It's been a long year, hasn't it? I'm looking forward to warmer weather and being outdoors, so stay tuned. I'm looking for an outdoor venue to perhaps give you the option to be outside. I know that won't work for everybody. And also still continue to use the camera. More on that later. It's, as always, May is a busy month, and we always have to keep it safe and keep it simple. So wherever you go, still, fully vaccinated or not, we need our social distance and our masking. We know it's an airborne disease, the novel coronavirus, COVID-19. We still need to wash our hands, of course, and not stick our fingers in our eyes, nose, and mouth. But we know it's more of an airborne thing, and being outdoors is so good for us. All right, so bye for now. Make those appointments with your physicians for your proactive preventative health care, and keep it safe and simple. Bye for now.